Hi guys, I want to tell you guys what's been going on since the election and talk about why it's still unfortunately, very unfortunately, necessary to fight Hillary staffers and supporters. So it doesn't look good. It's not that I'm not unaware of that. Last night on Twitter I got into a little bit of a beef with Peter Dow, who worked for Hillary. Honestly, I lost track of whether he works on her super PAC or super PAC, her actual campaign, correct the record, which is affiliated or not affiliated. So now, first of all, I want to be clear about this. It's not personal. Like, yeah, he's called me things, I've called him things online. I called him a schmuck last night. They accused us of being sexist throughout the primaries. And then last night he said we were doing this because we hate Hillary Clinton. That is preposterous. So to give you a sense of how it's not personal, yeah, I knew Pete for a long time. I still know him. And he then sent out a tweet saying we came up together as progressives. Yeah, we did. That's right. And Hillary Clinton, I don't know her at all. So why would I hate her? I don't hate her. I've never spent 1 minute having a personal conversation with her. I never met her. So I don't hate her. That's preposterous. So does this help the progressive side in terms of appearances? Well, no, because the establishment loves being polite, and if you seem uncivil, they're going to hold out against you. So right now, when we attack the guys who are hurting over their wounds after they lost this election, I know what the conclusion is. Oh, that's not, look at that, pouring salt in their wounds, saying I told you so. That isn't what this is about, because I know that looks small. I know that doesn't, for example, help me, right? The reason you got to do it is because right now they're busy setting the narrative. And once the narrative gets set in Washington, it is so hard to get anyone to ever change their minds. Here, I'll give you one classic example. Al Gore lost the debate with George Bush where he sighed. Oh, he did this sigh about how stupid George Bush was. First of all, George Bush was that stupid. I would have sighed 10 times worse. But, okay, putting that aside. No, he won that debate. According to the polling, immediately after the debate, he won it, and he won it resoundingly. But the RNC in that case put out a memo saying he lost because of the sigh, and every knucklehead on TV repeated it and repeated it. Now when you go back and talk about who won the debates, Al Gore or George Bush, almost every person in the mainstream media will say Al Gore lost because of the sigh, when in reality he won the debates. So, in fact, he won all 3 debates. So it's maddening once they set the narrative. And they are busy trying to set the narrative now. So they're doing 2 things. One, and it's both clever. One is, unsurprisingly, another Republican trick, which is, don't talk about something when it's relevant. After a mass shooting, don't talk about it. Because you might actually take some action, right? So Eric Boehlert, another guy I got no reason to dislike, puts out the narrative last night that Malcolm Fleshner, one of our guys, made a great point against. He said, right now is not the time for people to go on TV and talk about division in the Democratic Party. No, right now is exactly the time. Exactly the time, okay? Because right now, they don't want you to talk about their failures, because later they're going to pretend that it wasn't their failures. So, in fact, that leads us to point number 2. They're actually trying to set the narrative by saying it was James Comey, it was a sexism, and most importantly, and this is nice and subtle, it was, hey, it was the fighting we did amongst ourselves. So don't fight now. In other words, blame me when I'm at fault. And number 2. If you just hadn't primaried her, all the Bernie supporters caused the problem. If you just closed your eyes and said there's no problem at all, and clicked your heels a couple of times, Hillary Clinton would have won. No. That wasn't the problem. The problem was we should have fought more, because she was a establishment candidate. We said it over and over again. Again, it's not about I told you so. It's about where do we go next? So if you make that same mistake again and you put up another establishment candidate, someone else who's taken millions of dollars from Wall Street, and you, right before their campaign started, in paid speeches and put it in their pocket, you put another person in favor of the status quo, well, then we're going to make the same mistake. And that's a disaster. The reason we talk about it now, even though it's uncomfortable, and even though it isn't personal, is because we can't afford to make that mistake again. So, look, I read an article in The Hill last night talking about how they were measuring the drapes. So, and you know they were, right? They thought they were going to win, and they had been waiting for 10 years for Hillary Clinton to become the president, so they could all have these jobs. There's thousands of them, those Clinton staffers. One of the reasons we talked about the Clinton Foundation is because whether you talk about it or not, the American people already knew about the systemic corruption. You keep saying if we just close our eyes, it'll go away, or people won't know about it. You don't live in those days anymore. You don't live in the days where you can just control the idiot TV pundits and be done with it. Even if I didn't do it, 1,000 other people would do it online. And part of the reason they did the Clinton Foundation was so they could house those thousands of staffers so that they could go and measure the drapes right now. And in that article, they talked about they were looking forward to, quote, their gilded future. God damn it, that's exactly the problem. While those guys were scheming about their gilded future, they didn't give a damn about the Democratic Party. They didn't care about progressives. They didn't care about the country. So, and I understand why they opposed Bernie so much. Was it just because they genuinely thought that he was not as good a candidate as Hillary Clinton? It was a quarter of that. Yes, there was some percentage that was that because they're old. So they think, oh my God, the Republicans call him a socialist. We have to act more like Republicans, less like progressives. Yes, they have internalized that. Yes, they believe in sane things like that. Okay, but the main reason is Bernie wouldn't have given them that gilded future. They wouldn't have gotten all those jobs. They wouldn't have gotten to measure the drapes. So they were going to be against Bernie just as much as they were going to be against Trump, because then they wouldn't have gotten the beloved jobs they were looking forward to. That is why today they are busy setting the narrative, saying, oh no, it wasn't us. It was the Bernie guys. It was Comey. It was sexism. It was everybody else. Next time, please hire us again to make the same mistakes, because for them, it's not a mistake. It's their livelihood. These are the jobs that they get. So for them, they think, I either have a job or I don't have this job. So, hey, listen, guys, all of you who worked for Hillary, be gone. Poof, be gone. Okay? So, and you want to hate me for it? You want to say I'm pouring salt in your wounds? Hey, while you're busy trying to manipulate the American people, yeah, I'm going to fight back. Okay? And so what I mean by be gone is, you guys want to work in the private sector anyway. Go get those jobs. Go get rich. Okay? Just leave us alone. But the Democratic Party has to be run by progressives, not because, oh, we want to win and it's about our ego. No, because we can't let another monster like Donald Trump win again. Can you imagine if he gets 8 years instead of 4 years? We're not going to let him make that mistake again, even if we seem impolite in our fight back against them at this moment. Sorry.